Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRIENDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news right now, folks. The NFL landscape is buzzing with some intriguing developments, especially when it comes to the Washington Commanders. It's no secret that this team is always looking to strengthen its roster, especially in critical areas like the backfield, and recent reports point to a potential blockbuster move that could reshape their running game for the season ahead. Now you might be thinking, what is this big news? Well, hold on, because what I'm about to tell you could seriously change the way the Commanders approach their season and possibly give them that extra edge they've been craving. So here's the scoop. The Los Angeles Rams, a team that's been rebuilding and trying to find the right pieces to compete in a tough NFC West, might be trading away one of their promising young running backs, Blake Corum, to the Commanders. That's right, Corum, a player who's shown flashes of brilliance, could soon be wearing the burgundy and gold. And if you're a fan of the Commanders, this is exciting news because Corum's skill set aligns perfectly with what they need to revitalize that rushing attack. Now, why would the Rams consider trading Blake Corum? Well, it's closely tied to how the Rams evaluated him last year and their draft strategy. Corum, who was a rookie in 2025, only had a modest start with just 6 carries for 46 yards and a touchdown in his first 2 games. Not exactly eye-popping numbers, but that's often the case for rookies adjusting to the NFL. What's interesting, though, is that the Rams drafted him in round 3, 83rd overall, which shows they saw potential in him. But then, they traded up to draft Jarquez Hunter in the 4th round, 117th overall, which indicates they might see Hunter as a more immediate fit or perhaps a player they value more for their future core. This situation sets up a clear possibility for a trade. Corum, who's only 24 years old, could be moved to the Commanders, who are actively seeking help at the running back position after the loss of Austin Eckler. That injury left a big hole in their backfield, and Chris Rodriguez Jr., who was expected to step up, was surprisingly a healthy scratch before the injury even happened. So bringing in a player like Corum makes a lot of sense. He's a player with a compact build, around 58 and 210 pounds. That gives him a physical edge, especially near the goal line, which the Commanders are definitely going to need this season. And let's not forget, the Commanders have been experimenting with their backfield options, trusting in players like Jackery Krosky-Merritt, Jeremy McNichols, and Rodriguez Jr. But the truth is they need that extra spark, that reliable option who can handle different roles, whether it's catching passes out of the backfield, running between the tackles, or pounding in those short yardage situations. Corum, with his physical style and explosiveness, fits perfectly into that mold. Although he's only 58, he packs a punch, and his style could complement Krosky-Merritt's explosiveness and McNichols' pass-catching ability. This move isn't just about filling a roster spot, it's strategic. The Commanders want to keep Krosky-Merritt fresh, especially because he's still a 7th-round pick, and they're aware that relying solely on him for the entire rushing workload isn't ideal. Corum, with his physicality and experience, could take on that goal-line role and help the team punch in those crucial touchdowns. Plus, considering the team's aspirations for the season, adding a player like Corum could be the difference-maker in tight games, especially when the team is looking to establish a consistent running game that keeps defenses honest. But what about the Rams? Well, they're in a bit of a different situation. They drafted Corum last year with high hopes, but then decided to trade up for Hunter, which shows they might see more potential in the younger, more explosive back. Corum's rookie year stats: 58 carries for 207 yards and a 3.6 yards per carry average, weren't overwhelming, but his college career at Michigan was quite impressive. In his final season there, he ran for over 200 yards with a 4.8 YPC average and scored 27 touchdowns. That kind of production shows the potential that the Rams might be interested in tapping into elsewhere, perhaps in a different system or with a fresh start. Now, let's talk about what this could look like in terms of a trade package. Given Corum's limited production in his rookie year, and the fact that he's already 24, his market value might be a bit lower than some other young backs. A potential trade could involve the Rams receiving a 2027 fourth-round pick and a sixth-round pick in exchange for Corum. That kind of deal would give the Rams some draft capital to continue rebuilding and give Corum a fresh start with the Commanders, where he could have a more prominent role. For the Commanders, acquiring Corum makes a lot of sense. They're in a window where they want to maximize their Super Bowl chances, and adding a player with Corum's physical skill set could tip the scales in their favor. He's likely to get opportunities to showcase his talent, especially in short yardage and goal line situations, which are crucial in tight games. The team's coaching staff, led by head coach Ron Rivera, has always emphasized physicality and grit, and Corum certainly embodies those qualities. Now, it's worth noting that Corum's stats from last year don't tell the full story. He's a player who has shown flashes of brilliance, especially in college, and with a different system or a bigger role, he could develop into a reliable contributor for the Commanders. His size, combined with his running style, makes him a versatile option, someone who can be a power runner but also has enough agility to make defenders miss. It's exactly the kind of player that can help the team in the red zone and when trying to grind out tough yards late in games. And let's not overlook the bigger picture here. The Commanders are still in the hunt for a deep playoff run. They have a solid quarterback in Sam Howell, who's been developing nicely, and a defense that's been improving under the new coordinators. But what's been missing is that consistent, physical running game that can control the clock and wear down opposing defenses. Adding Corum could fill that gap and give the team a new dimension offensively. Plus, with the NFC East being as competitive as ever, think about the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants. Every edge counts, and a fresh, talented running back could be that little difference maker. From a historical perspective, the Commanders have always valued versatile, tough runners who can punch in those crucial yards. Players like Clinton Portis or Alfred Morris in the past, who could carry a team on their backs in critical moments. Corum, with his college production and physical profile, seems like a modern-day version of that kind of back, someone who can be a cornerstone in the running game if used correctly. And with the right coaching and opportunities, he could become a fan favorite in DC, especially if he comes in and starts making plays early in the season. Of course, all of this hinges on whether the Rams are willing to part with Corum and what draft picks are involved. But the potential fit is undeniable. The Commanders need to fill that void left by Eckler's injury and provide their offense with more punch. Corum could be the spark they need, especially in those close games where every yard counts. And for the Rams, getting some draft capital while moving on from a player who hasn't yet proven he can be a feature back makes sense from a rebuilding perspective. So, what does all this mean for the upcoming season? Well, if this trade happens, and it's just a speculative scenario right now, it could give the Commanders a significant boost. It would send a message that they're serious about competing now, not just building for the future. It would also give Corum an ideal environment to develop and showcase his talents, potentially turning him into a key piece of their offense for years to come. And let's not forget, fans, that these kinds of moves are what make the NFL so unpredictable and exciting. Every season brings surprises, and this could be one of those moves that nobody saw coming but ends up being a game-changer for the Commanders. The NFC East is fierce, and teams are always looking for that little extra edge. The addition of Corum could be just that. Now, I want to hear from you, my fellow Washington Commanders fans. What do you think about this potential trade? Are you excited about the idea of Corum in burgundy and gold? Do you believe he can be the running back that finally gives us that consistent ground game we've been craving? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters to us and to the future of this team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more deep dives into everything Washington Commanders. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and as always, let's keep the spirit alive.